If Argentina and Messi win this World Cup, will they build another statue? And where will they put the trophy? I think if I were to talk to a sculptor who would make the next statue of Messi, I guess I would just tell him to, make things more proportional, on his figure. I would do that. That's number one, what I would do. And yeah, that's what I would do. I'd say use more clay as well. Use more clay. Is there some sort of conspiracy behind this all? I mean, is this some elaborate plot to make us hate the arts? Welcome back to Mike Heath's Orbital Garbage Project, where we're trying to do one thing and one thing only: collect a piece of space trash by any means necessary. This week we have a very special guest, my cousin Jeremy Heath. Say hi, Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. Hi. I'm Jeremy. Okay. Well, Mike's relative. He isn't a great conversationalist, but he does know a lot about FIFA World Cup, specifically FIFA World Cup 2026. It was actually Jeremy's idea back in 2007 to do the FIFA World Cup here in America. Isn't that right, Jeremy? Yes, it was my idea to have the World Cup here. It was in the early aughts when I had the idea to have the FIFA World Cup in North America. I believe I was the first to have it, and it's been phenomenal, so I'm glad that I had the idea. Incredible, yes. You do have the best ideas. And the thing about Jeremy, though, that's quite interesting is, well, let's just get into it, actually. Let's just dive in here to the interview. The most important question for this World Cup, looking backward, looking to today, looking forward, is why did they design the Messi statue that way? I actually like the statue. I think it was perfectly done. I think it's very lifelike and realistic. I honestly have no notes about the statue. I wish everything would have been bigger on it, honestly. I thought it was too small. Okay, follow-up question. If Argentina, we have an Argentinian listener to MHogP, so hello, welcome. How do you do? And we have some watchers as well, so say hello to them. If Argentina and Messi win this World Cup, will they build another statue? And where will they put the trophy? I think if I were to talk to a sculptor who would make the next statue of Messi, I guess I would just tell him to, make things more proportional, on his figure. I would do that. That's number one, what I would do. And yeah, that's what I would do. I'd say use more clay as well. Use more clay. Interesting thought. I was thinking the most obvious is to kind of do a flip. So you basically take the original Messi statue that they made, and then you just turn it 180 degrees on its head, and then now you have him doing a headstand, and then the trophy in the same place. And I think that would be kind of like a yin and a yang. I think they should do a yin and yang statues. And I guess really my question, and really the headline that we just blew right over, is why are our statues getting so bad while our technology with these smartphones are only getting better and better? AI, how is technology advancing so fast, but our statues are regressing arguably just as fast? One reason that Um, is there some sort of conspiracy behind this all? I mean, is this some elaborate plot to make us hate the arts? And I think, so FIFA has nothing to do with the statue. It's not some ploy against the arts. They're not in cahoots with some big tech. Okay. Well, I guess we kind of buried your credentials on this podcast, but so far, I mean, yeah, I'd love to just tell us, how did you, besides having the idea of doing the World Cup in North America this year, what are your credentials with FIFA World Cup? Yes, I am a FIFA World Cup expert. I have been studying, and I actually went to my undergrad at Oxford for the World Cup, specifically World Cup soccer. I've studied its history, its rules, its philosophies, its culture, its economical power. I wrote my dissertation on why the World Cup matters. That's the title of my dissertation. You can look it up on Oxford's online library. It's the only place it's been published so far. Hasn't been published anywhere yet. Let's see what else. I have a show called World Cup Breakdown. It's also on all platforms. I just break down what's going on with the World Cup. Right now, I mean, we're talking about the current World Cup, but in between World Cups, we talk about news. It's a quarterly podcast. And then I have another show called Jeremy Bets, and it's all about betting on the World Cup, where I give advice, strictly legal advice on betting in the World Cup. And then I have another show, my fourth show. It's called All Bets No Jeremy. And I'm sorry. My last show is called All Ball No Jeremy. It's where I just have an animated soccer ball head give advice on betting. So it's another betting show. But you actually don't see my face, but it is my advice and my words. I find that people enjoy my content better if they don't have to look at me. So that's why I have All Ball No Jeremy. It's an animated soccer ball head that gives betting advice on the World Cup. And that show, All Ball No Jeremy, lives exclusively on Truth Social. It's been kicked off every other platform, so you can only catch that on Truth Social. All Ball No Jeremy. I thought America was going to win. America is in the United States of America, not the other parts of Americas. I thought the USA was going to win. They built a super team. They put money. I mean, they got Dr. Trump involved in getting Flo back in the game, reversing that red card. So I was for sure the USA was going to win, but it turns out ball don't lie, does it? Ball don't lie. And that's actually one of the shows about the World Cup that I do. It's called Ball Don't Lie. It's a show specifically about red cards and reversing and VAR technology and its role in the game. And it also has a weekly segment about Lonzo Ball and what's going on in that young man's life. Ball Don't Lie. Check us out on all platforms. I appreciate your honesty, and that's what I think makes you so credible as a FIFA World Cup expert here to discuss the World Cup with us. So thank you so much for joining the pod. I guess, are there any final anecdotes or words that you have for us? Well, I think what the World Cup has done for North America is really quite beautiful. It's exposed a lot of Europeans to ranch, and I think spreading the hype of ranch to the four corners of the earth is beautiful. By the way, I love Bob Ross. He's a beautiful man. He actually was a big fan of the FIFA World Cup as well. A lot of people don't know about that, but when Bob wasn't painting, he was actually watching World Cup highlights and reruns. That's what he was really into as one of his main hobbies in life. Anyways, I do believe England is going to win the World Cup because, and this is simply because, and this is one reason that I will say, and I think because Harry Kane, Harry Khan, as I like to call him, Harry Khan is actually a descendant of Genghis Khan, and his family rewrote their last name to fit in more in England. But Harry Khan, or as you know him, Harry Kane, he's actually been a phenom since he was a little boy. In fact, when he was playing youth league soccer, people would come up to him and go, "Are you a wizard, Harry?" Because he was so magical with the soccer ball. So I think England's going to win it all. And I talk about that on my show, Jeremy Betts. I also talk about it on my show, All Ball, No Jeremy. I talk about it more on All Ball, No Jeremy, but I do talk about it on Jeremy Betts, so you can check that out. And I guess I just really want to go swim. That's what I'm really hoping to do, is to go swim. I'd like to go swim laps today and eat some dinner. If we could do that, that would be great. I guess that's all I've really got to say about that. Okay, well, that was a final words for sure. Well, thank you, Jeremy. Yes, we will go swimming. Yes, I promise. Like I promised you, I'll take you to the pool. We'll swim some laps and we'll make Grandma's chickawappi after. Yes, I also love that cheesy hot sausage ricey dish. Yes, it's the best. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. You can just go sit over there on the couch. Okay, well, thank you for having me on your show. To talk about. Do I just sit here? Well, yep. Yeah, I should go sit over there. Be quiet in the corner. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, should I bring the microphone with me? Okay. All right, well, goodbye, guys. I'm Jeremy. Check out my shows. Jeremy Betts, All Ball, No Jeremy. Just focus on those two specifically. Those two, I really want to point those. Specifically, if you could actually just go to All Ball, No Jeremy. That one needs the most help. Okay. And it also has the best information. It's the most entertaining. Okay. All right. Goodbye. I'm Jeremy. Thank you. That wraps up our interview about the FIFA World Cup with my relative Jeremy Heath, FIFA World Cup expert. It was great to have him on the podcast. I hope that really drew you in because we have more exciting news about MHOGP. This is really quite exciting. We have, over the last month of July 2026, we have added a new listener to the Mike Heath Orbital Garbage Project from a brand new country. And if you listened to the show or watched the show before, you know a fun little thing we like to do is before revealing who the new listener is, we like to play a little game to give you guys, listeners, members of the Space Trash Force, time to guess. Okay, so first we're going to do some fun facts about this new listener's country, and which is really quite exhilarating for you if you are listening again to this episode and you know that you're new, but you don't know. There may be things that you don't know, so you might be able to learn about your country, and if not, we also think it's a fun game, but we also like to learn about where our fellow members of the Space Trash Force are and what their life is like there. So, the newest country added to listenership, pumping MHOGP into their ear holes, is from this country. It is in Europe. It is the 12th largest country in Europe by area. Okay? It's in Southeast or Central Europe. some other fun facts. Let's see. Its current population is around 19 million human beings. The capital starts with the letter B. I don't want to give it away because if you know your capitals, that will just be too quick, right? The major religion in this country, 84% of the population says they are Christian in their religion. They have a unitary semi-presidential republic. That's a unitary semi-presidential republic is their form of government. I don't know how you have a semi-president. I mean, we might want to try that in America, honestly. Yeah, we might be interested in talking about what's a semi-president. We have a president right now. We always have. I don't know if we always will, to be honest, but we have one currently. Your total GDP, which is gross domestic profit, that comes out at $480 billion. So you guys are doing big things. Okay, now let's just point, if you haven't already guessed it, we're going to just do a little thing we like to do right now. Something we like to do is where we just play some of the national anthem and let that be the last clue before we reveal the new country. Five more seconds. Lock in those answers. Drop a comment. All right. The newest country represented by our listenership in MHOG-P is none other than Romania. Romania. For the first time ever in the history of Space Trash Collection with MHOG-P, we have a listener in the country of Romania. And let me just be the first to say, I and my fellow United States of Americans, we love your lettuce. Romaine lettuce. I don't know what you guys are doing over there with your lechuga, to tap into our Spanish listenership. Lechuga, is that right? Yeah, that's got to be. Lechuga is definitely lettuce in Espanol. Your romaine lettuce is, we can't get enough of it over here. I don't know how. I mean, you guys have a GDP of 480 billion. I would guess 200 billion of your GDP is simply Americans buying your lettuce. So thank you for your lettuce. We can't get enough of it. Don't ever stop, please. Or if you do, at least give us some of your soil and your recipe for your romaine lettuce. We would love it. I also learned that, and I don't know about this, so our listener is from, or they listened in Brasov, Romania. It's a historic city in the center of Romania, and it's a beautiful town. If you haven't checked out Brasov, obviously our listener there has. That's where they listen to it. How did you hear? We do, every time we travel internationally, here's what I like to think happened. Here's what I like to think happened is that when we traveled to Portugal and we hung up some Portuguese MHOG-P guerrilla marketing posters, I like to imagine that you were doing a summer vacation in Lisbon or Cash, Portugal, and you saw one of our guerrilla marketing posters and you said, what is this about? So you waited until you got home and you listened. And I just want to say welcome. However you found it, welcome. And I love your city. It's got churches, like beautiful black. It says like the Black Church, which I'm assuming is descriptive of the building and not the people within. But I've never been to Romania, so I don't know what ethnicities of people you typically have there. But you also are in the Transylvanian Alps, which I want to know, have you ever had an encounter with a vampire? I mean, really, that's what I really want to know. Did your grandpa, your grandma, like a distant relative ever experience anything with a vampire? I would love to know. And have you been to Dracula's castle? Oh, I have dreams of maybe one day going to Brasov, Romania, and visiting. Oh, it would be so good to go to do a podcast in Dracula's castle. How amazing would that be? I mean, to talk to a vampiric expert, like we had the World Cup expert. I mean, I just think talking about these beautiful and historic oddities can only help us in our mission of collecting a piece of space trash. But it's not in the budget right now. I mean, we already spent our travel budget going to Portugal and where else? Ireland and New York City to hang up guerrilla marketing posters and tell people about MHOG So we don't have more. I mean, but one day I'd love to go to Romania and visit the Dracula's castle with you. I'd love to link up. We could have a little rally for space trash collection. That would be fun. But thank you. I believe that brings our total country count for listenership for MHOG up to 24 countries. We are now, I think we are in more countries than we are in states in the United States of America, which, I mean, is discouraging to some degree. To be honest, I feel like we should be in all 50 states before, we hit 50 countries, but maybe that will happen. I don't know. I think it's important to be international in our efforts. There are more people outside of the United States of America than there are within, and I think if we really want to collect $2 million, that's what we must do. We must go international. We must be a broad international show. What else? So we've grown the listenership over the last month, which has been exciting. I think hopefully in part that is due to our consistency of having weekly episodes, which is something we are committed to doing. We must do that. Yes, we must. We must increase our listenership for the sake of space trash collection, and that we will do. Let's see, what else? What else to talk about? Oh, comedy. Comedy has been going great. As you know, we are a stand-up comedian. I am a stand-up comedian. And that is a vital part to our mission of space trash collection. I really believe that jokes are the future. And so that's why we're utilizing jokes for space trash collection. We all know that space trash is my passion, and jokes are a avenue to get there. I love doing stand-up comedy, and I believe that it will help us, and it's been going great. We just competed in a Seattle comedy competition. It's called Seattle's Funniest, put on by the Emerald City Comedy Club here in Capitol Hill of Seattle, Washington, United States, Earth. And it's in partnership with Helium Comedy Clubs. It's a national chain of comedy clubs, and they do this. And I think in every city they have a club. They have like a funniest competition. So Seattle's Funniest is happening right now. It started July 1st is when I was on the first preliminary round. So there's like 10 preliminary rounds. I think over like 130, 150 comedians got into the competition, and I competed in the first preliminary round. And the first round was purely audience vote. So every audience member was given a sheet of the list of comedians. So there was 12 comedians on my show, and each audience member who was there for the duration of the show had to number 1 to 12, rank their favorite comics of the night, who was the funniest. and I didn't bring anybody to the show. So, that's I think how they're getting around. If one comic brought, let's say there was 30 people there, and one comic brought 10 people. I mean, you would think that comic would advance, right? Because they have 10 of the 30 votes. I don't remember how many people were there. I'm just giving you a clean number. So if the third of the people were there and they all voted for you, even if you weren't the most funny, they did make a note. It's like, hey, like, we want this to be about the comics' material, originality, how funny they are, not based on your connection to them. But we want to thank you for being here and supporting them. And there was a comic there who I've never met before, and they had brought, I wouldn't say 10 people, but they brought a crowd, and I was for sure that this person would advance. And I honestly don't know how long that person is doing stand-up, but I thought I had maybe one of the tightest 4-minute sets. I mean, I spent weeks fine-tuning the best 4 minutes of stand-up that I could think to put together. I really tried to hammer it out and focus. I spent 4 weeks really trying to think about that. So I tested it out at like a lot of open mics. I took some of my best jokes and I tried to whittle them down and condense them. And I think I gave it my all. I was very prepared for the preliminary round because I think that something in comedy that is important is just having credits. So accolades. People could say, well, like, if you have a good video, I think that's probably the most important, is having a good video to send to people to book you for comedy shows, but also just having like, I've accomplished this, and competitions I think are one way to do it, besides just getting on like television or get on some like bigger platform like Don't Tell, like to have like a Don't Tell showcase, 10-minute video on their channel, I think is a good credit to have. Or Comedy Central back in the day, or maybe even today, I don't know, maybe they'll make a comeback. Or if you were on like a big festival like Netflix is a Joke, or Big Sky over in Montana, other big festivals you could choose from, whatever. So just being able to advance in Seattle's Funniest was a big goal of mine before we moved to San Diego. So I really focused on that a lot, but there was some stiff competition on the first show, and then some people who brought a lot of people, which is just a reality of audience vote competitions. And we did our best. We were the last comedian up, which I do think was an advantage for me. I didn't get to pick that. They just picked, put me there. So it's tough because people have sat through, at that point, 11 different comics. So there's a little bit of fatigue, of like, give it up for, keep it going for. There's a lot of clapping and just like, all right, and the last person, and maybe there's some like hope. It's like, okay, this is the last person. But they've also listened to a lot of different comedy at that point. And I believe there's you do have the recency bias on your side, but you also have the fatigue of the show. It's been going on for a while. Anyways, I went up and I was the last, and I think I had one of the tightest 4-minute sets I've ever had. It was just jokes that I had been honing, for maybe a year plus at this point. My best jokes, and I whittled them down to have the most amount of punchlines, which is what you should do, I guess, in all situations, but specifically for this competition. So we hammered it out. Really enjoyed that show. It was so fun. I did advance. I placed in the top 3. They didn't like rank us. They just said, here's the top 3. I was there with fellow comedians, hilarious Seattle comedians, Bo Blast and Andrew Frank. I don't know Bo as well. I've worked with Bo a few times on shows. I think Bo is so natural on stage. I think one thing that really sets Bo apart is his stage presence and his delivery. It doesn't feel written. Like it's so natural. It feels like you're having a conversation, like you're just listening to a buddy say funny things at you. And I think that's really incredible And then Andrew Frank has been a huge help to me. I've done so many shows with Andrew. Andrew has helped me fix a lot of my jokes. Was a very helpful. Andrew's been doing it for, since Andrew was like a teenager. They've been doing comedy, so 15 plus years, stand-up veteran, toured all over the country. I think Andrew is about to blow up on the internet. I think Andrew doesn't have the internet following, but I don't think that'll last for long. Anyways, just an incredible comedian and writer and performer. So it's an honor to be in the top 3 with them. We advance to the semifinals, which take place the first week of September. So there's a lot of preliminary rounds. I think there's like 10 rounds. And then the top 3 from each show. So it'll be 30 comedians in the semifinals. And I don't know who advances, like how many advance from the semifinal to the finals. I can't imagine it's more than 2. I think there's 2 preliminary. So maybe there's 3 from 30 comedians, 15 per show. That wouldn't make sense. There's 3 preliminary rounds. So I could imagine maybe 2 to 3. Because I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know. I just know I'm in the semifinal. It'll be the first week of September, I believe. I believe maybe the 8th or the 9th. I'll be sure to update you guys. And that one is purely judges' vote. So I don't think the audience has a vote in the semifinals. So I'll be looking forward to that. So far, I think there's only been 3 other comedians. There's only been one other prelim show that's happened. And it's 3 headliners, which I'm not a headliner yet. I will get there one day. We're not there yet. We have headlined some shows, but I'm not a headliner. I'm very excited, though, that could really help us move forward in comedy, which in turn will help us in Space Trash Collection. So that's exciting. I want to report that to you guys. I know that's not like the funniest thing to talk about, but I think it's important and vital for us to discuss and for you to be on the loop. And then tonight, Saturday, June 11th? June 11th, we are back at the Rabbit Box Theater for the Setup Comedy Show. I don't know if this podcast will get out today. If so, if you're somehow listening to this before the show, come on down at 7:30. If not, I'm sure it's going to be a great show. Maybe you already know about it, so maybe you'll be there. The lineup for tonight is insane. I can't wait to see how it goes and to talk about it next week here on the show. But then next week on Thursday and Friday, so that's July, I think, 16th and 17th, I'm in Bellingham. On the 16th, I'm at Afterglow, the Afterglow comedy show at Aslan Brewing in Bellingham. And then Friday the 17th, I'm at the Corner Tap House. So I'll be featuring on Thursday for Andy Awancio, hilarious stand-up here out of the Seattle area. And then on Friday, July 17th, I'll be featuring for the very funny Allison Fine at Corner Tap House. Both those shows are at 8 p.m. And then next Saturday, I'm the feature comic. I don't know if there's a headliner at the Tap Room over in Kirkland. The Side Hustle Tap Room and La Vida Social Cuisine. And that's at 8 p.m. as well in Kirkland, Washington. And that's what's coming up this next week. I hope to see you at a show. Thank you for listening to Mikey's Orbital Garbage Project. Together, we will clean up our orbital junkyard. Peace. Great shot!